Some of the things that you're going to need for today, if you have a couple of hand towels and or pillowcases, that would be great. You might want a blanket and just maybe your pillow from your bed. And so I have to trust that all of you are going to listen and honor where your bodies are at as we're going through this. If for some reason when you're going through it, something doesn't feel right, please come out of it. What I mean by listen and honor is when we're doing any type of myofascial self-care, the things that we should feel are, when we initially start softening, you may feel a little bit of, let's say, resistance, tension. That's where that restriction is going to be. That's where we want to stop. We don't want to go any further. And then we're going to draw our breath to it, and as it starts to give and that sensation lessens, that's the release that's occurring. As we go deeper, you may feel more sensation come on. That's the restriction. And then again, as it releases, the sensation will lessen. So it's almost like you're on a little bit of a roller coaster where the sensations go up and down. That's what I want someone to always be feeling. If whenever you're doing a technique, the sensation comes up and it stays relatively constant, one of two things: you're too far into the technique and or you need to back out, or it's not the technique for you that day. So really listen and honor that and just make sure that you come out of the technique. Okay, now we're gonna bring out our pillows. So again, this is when we really want to listen and honor where the body's at, you guys. Never forcing with this technique. I don't want you to have any pain with it. Stretching is okay, a little bit of tension is okay, but pain or compression, pinching is not okay. So I'm going to give you some modifications. We're going to be using the pillow vertically along our spine, so we're going to rest it on either the floor or bed, wherever we're comfortable. I want your bottom or your butt to be on the end of that pillow. Very slowly you're going to walk yourself down. Ideally, you want the upper part of that pillow to be right at the lower shoulder blades. So you can see how my pillow is right at that lower part of my shoulder blade. We're going to be getting some nice gentle opening through the chest. Knees are bent, feet flat on the floor. Your hands can be wherever they're comfortable. They can be on your tummy. You can have them resting to the side. Whatever feels right to you. Now I want you to take just a moment to tune in how the body is feeling. All of us are very different. If you are feeling any type of compression or pinching in your low back, you may need just a little bit of support. So this is where you can take one of your towels, lift your bottom, and just place it at the bottom of your butt, kind of that lower sacrum area, just lifting you up a little bit so you don't have as much tension in that low back. Many of you will also have issues in the neck where you may feel that your neck is extended and you're feeling compressed or some discomfort in your neck or upper back. Just take your towel and just place one underneath your neck. So these are your modifications as needed for you. Okay. Once you're settled into that position, we're going to work on just softening over the pillow. So I want you just to bring your awareness to your feet, and we're going to use our breath again. And as we exhale, I want you to imagine the tops of your feet just sinking and melting towards the floor. And then bringing your awareness to your thighs. Some people like to imagine their knees melting towards the floor, or I like to imagine my thighs sinking and dropping into my hip joints. And at this point, you should start to feel a little bit of your pelvis and your back softening onto the pillow. And then bringing our awareness to our tummy, our diaphragm, and our chest. Imagining those areas just starting to sink, melt down towards our spine. And then letting the front of the face, front of the throat, melt towards the floor. And don't worry about watching the technique at this time. Just focus on your breath, focus on yourself softening, letting go. Anytime your mind goes to worrying about the day or what you have to do, bring it back to your breath and your body. Just be aware of softening. Let's continue to do that for 3 or 4 breath cycles. With each exhale, feeling yourself getting softer and softer. Letting go of more and more tension. Now some of you may be feeling some pull, maybe in the chest or the neck or even in the abdomen. If you are, just maintain this position, and this is where we listen in honor of just being where we're at. For those of you that aren't feeling as much, I'm going to show you how to start to progress this stretch. And we're going to start with our arms. We can take our arms almost as if we're making snow angels. And we can take that arm, and I would do one at a time and start to bring it along the floor until you just start to feel a little bit of change in sensation. You might feel it in your neck or in your upper back or even in your chest. Go ahead and stop at that point. And you can do this one-sided, or if you want to do both, you can. Start to raise that other arm up until you start to feel a little bit more sensation. And now I just want you to stop and wait there. Using your breath to breathe into whatever resistance or tension you're feeling. Again, no pain. This should feel good. And as you continue to breathe in, I like to imagine almost my rib cage in the front just lengthening away from my sternum, and in the back lengthening away from my spine ever so gently, as if I'm just creating gentle space. You would just hang out here, just taking up a little bit more space each time you feel it soften. Or those arms can start to come up a little bit higher as long as it feels good for you. In myofascial stretching, we encourage to stay within the stretch for a minimum of 2 minutes, but many times we're encouraging 3, 4, 5 minutes. The longer you stay in it, the more change, the more release you'll get. So feel free to hang out here longer in the future. Now sometimes I will add a modification to incorporate my legs in. But for today's sake, let's just separate them. When it feels right, bring those arms back down, and you can rest them back right by your side or your hands on your belly. Now some of us like to feel lengthening happening more in the front of our abdomen or into our rib cage. If you feel any pinching in your low back, I want you to make sure you bring that leg back up. But one leg at a time. We're going to start with the left. Just start to straighten that leg, and you should just feel a little bit of lengthening through the leg. Should not feel pinching or compression in the low back. If that feels okay, you can bring that second leg down. And now, just like we did with our chest, now We're just imagining almost our legs lengthening away from our rib cage with each exhale. And over time, if you want to then add those snow angels in, it's just a very nice overall chest opener. Let's take just a couple of breaths in this position, finding that space that feels right for you. Again, if at any time it doesn't feel right, come back to the basic position. With each exhale, allowing ourselves to soften even more. Lengthening. Again, you would hang out here for, say, 2 minutes or so, as long as it feels good. To come out of the position, we're going to gently bend one leg up and then bend the second up. Our spine has been going into an extended position, so to get out of the position, a lot of times I like to bring one knee up towards my chest, just flexing my hip, flexing my spine a bit. And I'm not going to hold this, but I'm just going to go back and forth a little bit. Maybe 2 times on each side. And on this last one, if you want to, you can bring the second one up, having those knees go just a little bit wide towards your outside of your shoulders. And you can even give a little bit of a rocking back and forth if that feels okay or feels right to you. And then when you're ready to, one leg down at a time. We'd never want to just sit up off this pillow, so to get up, you're going to make sure you roll onto your side, you guys. Nice and easily. And again, this exercise is great for chest opening. Many of us have been sitting in front of computers. Maybe our computers aren't as ergonomic as what we are in the office, or we're sitting down watching TV a lot, so our neck is bothering us. We may have headaches. This is a great technique to do at the end of a long day or as just a rest during the day to kind of change that position out. But again, always listening and honoring where you're at. Again, most important, no pain, you guys.